Hey guys, Melissadunn here with the Melissadunn Realty team in Keller Williams. I am so excited to be here with you today. Today we're talking about the pros and cons of selling a home in a seller's market. We are in a crazy hot seller's market right now, and I know a lot of sellers would love to get as much equity out of their home as possible, but they also don't know where they're gonna go. So I'm excited to talk with you about some of the most common pros and cons that I meet whenever I do listing presentations with sellers, and some solutions and strategies that we're using to help our clients during this period. Before we get started, I have to ask you to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. I am a realtor here in the DFW Metroplex. I serve all over Dallas, and I would love to serve you and your family. Our channel puts out videos on real estate investing, buying, selling, DFW, how the market's doing, different areas in the DFW Metroplex, things to do in the Dallas area, and of course we do amazing property tours that we would love for you to be part of. So before we move forward, hit the subscribe button and become part of our family, and after you do that, we'll jump right into the video. Okay, so the first pro that I have for you is that sellers are getting top dollar. We are really able to push the boundaries on price and really see how far we can get you and how much we can make you on the sale of your home, as long as it's within reason. But I'm okay with helping you push it on price as long as it means that we're gonna still get traffic in the door so that we can get you offers. And there's very little prep really that our sellers are having to do. I still have you declutter, we still do our staging and redesign, and we do everything to market your property. That's still very, very important to me, that you be well presented on the market. But you know, you're not really gonna have to go fix 900 things like we would in another market. And likewise, pro number two is that you've got way more leverage whenever you're under contract to do minimal or no repairs. We have buyers who are really just thankful that they're under contract, and so when we do inspection requests, unless it's a major item, we aren't really getting big repair requests. Or any on some properties. So it really just depends on the property and the item that the inspector finds. You know, I have one that we ended up with like a $200 credit for them to fix something. Not a big deal, something very easy for us to do. A lot of properties, they're not getting any repair requests because they know that once we get you under contract on that property, we also have a backup and a backup to the backup to come step in if for some reason this buyer does not agree to our terms. So you really have an opportunity to do limited work on the home once you're under contract, which is great for you, easy. Another thing that's really, really great, and another great pro for our sellers out there, are that our buyers are incredibly well qualified in today's market. Most agents are making their clients be at least pre-underwritten, if not fully underwritten, in order for them to close. And this just takes away so much risk for you, whereas it used to be a pre-qualification or something like that. We're not doing that anymore. We won't really even accept those offers until they have been completely pre-underwritten or fully underwritten before they can write a contract on one of our listings. So very, very little risk there for our sellers, way more prepared buyers than we traditionally would have in another market. And you've got more to choose from too, right? You can really pick the cream of the crop whenever you're going through your multiple offers and picking who you want to move forward with. You know, the one thing that sellers don't like doing whenever they are selling their home is the amount of showings you have to do. People in your home, you having to leave the home. It's just, you know, if it typically would take 2 to 3 weeks to sell a home, that's 2 or 3 weeks of disruption to your schedule. And what we're seeing right now is that properties are going under contract very, very quickly, typically before or during the first weekend. And so way less disruption to your schedule. I tell my sellers just to plan on being gone for a few days so that we can get the appropriate amount of exposure that we need, but not to overwhelm them. And we hope to be under contract within that first weekend for them. So let's get into the cons. What are the cons of selling a home in a seller's market? Well, one of them, once you sell, are you going to jump into that seller's market? You know, I have sellers who are doing all different types of things. Some are jumping into the seller's market and going to find a property to purchase, and we have strategy to solve that. Some aren't buying their next home at all. They're cashing out their equity. Some are living with family. Some are building homes, so they may do a short-term rental or live with family while their home is being built. Some are renting. I've had families who have gone to live full-time in an RV and travel the United States. So there's lots of different opportunities for you to exit the property and to do it creatively. If you are going to jump into the market as a buyer, we can definitely help you strategize and game plan what that looks like for you before we even list your property. One of the most common things that my clients do, they will list the property. They will require at least a 30-day closing and a 60-day lease back. So essentially they have 90 days from the point of going under contract to the point of vacating the property to get under contract and move. The lenders that we use can close you in 2 weeks. So as long as, you know, your first property that you're currently living in, you're gonna have an option period. So we'll wanna get through that before we start looking at properties and getting under contract there. But let's say that in property A, you go under contract, we do a 30-day close and a 60-day lease back, and you have 1 week here of not really looking at anything, just waiting to make sure you get through the option period. Once you're out of that option period, we start looking at properties immediately and we start trying to get something under contract. Essentially though, that's just 1 week gone out of 12. So you have 11 weeks to be moved out of your first property. And as long as I can get you under contract within 9 weeks, you're good. And believe me, we will get you under contract within that 9-week period. Most of my clients are under contract within 2 to 3 weeks. Even in this crazy market, we look at enough homes, we can get you under contract within 2 to 3 weeks. But if you are an exceptionally picky seller or buyer, then it may take a little bit extra time, but we've got it. We've got 9 weeks, we can get you under contract. I do always suggest having a plan B and a plan C. So maybe if we don't sell by this point, we're going to move in with my sister-in-law and my brother for a couple of weeks, or maybe we're going to move into a rental, maybe a short-term rental or a 6-month rental, something like that, until we can find the right home. Another option that my clients will do, before we list the property, we'll go out and we'll contract on a new construction property. So we'll go ahead and we'll begin the build process, and then once we get to a certain stage of construction, that's when we're going to list your home, and we're going to still maybe ask for the lease back, so that way you've got some time for any construction delays. However, if we can vacate early, all the better. Buyer's happy, you're happy, it's awesome. Everyone gets to live somewhere, no one's homeless. So we're not going to leave you out there hanging. We're going to make sure that you have a home to come home to. Another con of selling a home during a seller's market, and especially this particular market, would be that there's so many people in your home. And I know people hit the scale differently on COVID and how comfortable they are with interaction with other people. However, you know, I'm very COVID cautious, and one of the strategies that we've really implemented for our clients is, listen, let's just list your property on a Thursday. We'll start showing it on Friday. You and your family go away Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Go away, go do a staycation or go have a long weekend somewhere. And then the day that you return, before you come home, we'll send our housekeeper in that morning to go disinfect the whole house. So that way you can come home and have the peace of mind that this home was completely sanitized before you returned. I found that that has really worked well for my clients. We're able to get your property the exposure it needs. We're not inconveniencing you too much, and you're able to come home to a nice clean home. And that's the best thing to come home to after a long weekend. We all want that, right? And my final con for you is going to be that everything in a seller's market moves at a much faster pace. In a buyer's market, it's a lot slower. In a seller's market, it's a lot faster. And so we want to make sure that you know everything going in. What's your plan B? What's your plan C? I want to know plan B and plan C because I want to help you prepare to be successful in whatever you are doing. Our goal, of course, is to help you buy your next house. And so that's what we're going to go into this with. Recently, I had someone that we were able to bump up the closing on their home because it made us more attractive as a buyer, and we we were able to get under contract relatively quickly once we bumped up that closing. So there's different things that we can do to really help you achieve the goal of home ownership and moving into your next home and making that transition as easy as possible. Okay guys, so those are my pros and cons for selling a home in a seller's market. If you have a pro or con in seller's market that I didn't mention, drop it in the comments below and I'll answer it on our next video. Until then, if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. We want to be here for you. We want to be your real estate resource here in Dallas, Texas. And if you have any questions or if you want to reach out to us, you can always call me at the number below or visit me at melissadunnrealty.com. You can search properties, find out how much your home is worth, look at new construction homes, and we've got tons of information there on buying and selling. There's lots of links below to view one of our webinars, to download a buyer or seller guide, or to learn more about building a home. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us, and until the next video, can't wait to see you guys. Bye. Start enjoying our area. If you'd like to learn more, click the button below.